crying now. Oh my god, I could just hear you guys unsubscribing. I'm crying on YouTube. Oh my fucking god, I'm one of those YouTubers now. What's up, my little mofos? So today I'm making a video that's actually one of my most requested videos of all time, like literally. Before I start my story, I'm gonna take this minute right now to ask 3 things of you guys. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I make awesome things. Number 2, make sure to give this video a thumbs up because I'm finally making this video. Like literally, I put this shit off for like a year. And number 3, if you're subscribed or not, make sure to click that bell right next to my channel. I don't know, I'll put a picture next to it here because a lot of people don't get my videos in the subscription box, so click this bell and you'll get updated every time I put something up new. So the reason I think I took so long to film this video is that I'm used to being like crazy, you know, like over the top on YouTube and having like this weird like a persona, and like this video right here is gonna be me being real. Like I might cry, like I honestly might cry. Oh my god, if I cry, unsubscribe, literally just unsubscribe. Alright, so without further ado, my coming out story. I think I'll start by giving you guys like some background on my family. So I grew up in like a super religious family, and by super religious I just mean like literally my entire family was involved in a church. Like my grandma was a pastor, my great grandma was a pastor, like they all had their own churches. We'd go there every day. Sundays like regular church, Monday is like, you know, youth studies, Tuesdays like Bible study, Wednesdays choir, Thursdays something, I don't know, like literally every day we're in church. So of course I was taught stuff like, you know, being gay is a sin, or you know, anything like feelings towards the same sex, like anything like that, that's a sin, you know, and you go to hell. Something that was really instilled in me, you know, like by the time that I realized that I might have some attraction towards guys, like when I was around 11, 12, 13, I was literally devastated. Like I tried to crush those feelings, you know, get them out of my head immediately because I didn't want to deal with them. It's not I didn't want to deal with them, like I just had no place in my life for that. Like I didn't want to disappoint myself, I didn't want to disappoint my family, you know, I didn't want to go to hell. I remember just every night when I was like 11 or 12 years old, before I go to sleep, just you know, in my nightly prayers, I was just like, please God, just don't make me gay. Like please God, I don't want to be gay. Like I'm not gay, God, just please God, just whatever you do, just please don't make me gay. I saw that as like the worst thing ever. Like I did not want to be gay, especially because like everyone says that you choose to be gay, and I was just like, I'm not choosing this shit. Around 12, 13, 14, that's when the feelings, you know, towards guys really starting to solidify. You know, like when people go through puberty, that's when they realize pretty much what they're attracted to. I know there's some people that don't realize that they're a part of the LGBT plus community until further on in their life, but I feel like for most people, like you know when you go through puberty. And I was honestly depressed. I was depressed. Middle school was the worst for me. Middle school and high school, like for coming to terms with what I was and who I am, like it was the worst for me. I remember I literally didn't want to get close to anyone. Like I didn't want to make friends. Like I felt like they would see something in me that I was hiding from the entire world. I remember this one time when I was 12 years old. Me and my whole family were in a room, you know, like we were a really close family back then, you know. We were all in the room, we were just watching like the news, and there was this new news anchor, and it was this young guy. He looked like he was in his 20s or something like that. I remember my mom saying something like, oh yeah, he's so well spoken, and I said under my breath, and cute too. Oh my god, even at 12 years old, my fucking thirst was uncontrollable. But yeah, this was something that I thought I whispered, and I looked over and my dad was staring at me in the most like disgusted look ever. Like I remember this, like I remember this in full fucking detail, my dad's disgust on his face. I just remember just being like, oh no, I fucked up. Like I fucked up. He's like, guys don't say that. You don't say another guy's cute. Don't ever say that again. Like we don't say that. So I told myself I would never say it again. I would never even, you know, put that out there, like that I'm even capable of like having feelings towards another guy. In high school, actually, things, I don't know if they got a little bit easier, you know. I got better at hiding things, you know. But high school was also the time when I was hiding them mostly from my family, but I felt like I just needed someone who knew, you know. Like back in the day, back on MySpace, I had like my MySpace profile, it said like my sexuality was unknown. And I remember someone messaged me and they asked, and they were like, why do you say unknown? And I was like, because I don't know. And like my heart is just beating out of my chest at this point, you know. It's beating out of my chest, you know, just staring at the screen waiting for the next message. And they're like, maybe you're bisexual. And I was like, maybe. And that right there, you know, me saying maybe brought back all the negativity and the bad feelings back in my life. It brought me right back to, you know, praying to God every night for me not to be gay. You know, after months like that, just hating myself, I met a group of people at school who were, you know, in the LGBT community. They were just, I just be so happy, and they were open. And I was just like, no way, like, how are they not, you know, at home crying or contemplating suicide like I was? Like, how are they able to be so open? And so I befriended one of them. You know, it actually helped me come to terms with myself. Like, I think like the most powerful moment, one of the most powerful moments for me is when I was 16 years old, and I remember looking in the mirror and trying so hard to tell myself, just to say it out loud, because I had never said it aloud, like, I'm gay. And I did it, you know? And after that, I came out to the group of friends, you know? I told them that I was interested in guys and stuff like that. But that was just a couple of people at school, you know. My home life was a very different story. Like, I remember coming home and the Proposition 8, you know, to ban gay marriage, stuff like that was just plastered all over our lawns. Because my dad was vocally against it. My church was, like, super vocally against it. That was instilled not only in my head, but my entire family's head. So I knew there was no way that I was going to be able to come out to my family. You know, because I've heard horror stories, you know, people getting kicked out of their homes, you know, not allowed to come back to their home, or, you know, people getting cut off from the family, you know, like the family not even want to talk to you anymore, or even, you know, like physical abuse, like getting physically hurt because you're trying to share something so deep and personal with yourself, with the people you love. Like, I've heard horror stories, and I decided that I was not going to, like, let anyone in my family know, you know, that part of me until I knew that, you know, I could take care of myself. So I'm going to tell you guys how I came out to my dad. So fast forward to about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm living in my own apartment. I was at the point where I wanted to meet a guy, you know. I wanted to, you know, get out there into a dating world. But I knew that Sacramento is like a small place. Everyone knows all of your business. And I knew that if I was dating a guy or something like that, like, someone would find out. Like, someone on Facebook would... My dad, my parents would see it. I knew it. So I wanted to come out to them first. I wanted them to hear from me and not hear from anyone else, because I felt like that would have been worse. So I decided I was going to tell my dad first. And I don't know why I decided I was going to tell my dad first, because my dad was literally like the most vocal person, you know, against it in my family. I don't know if I thought I was going to get the hard part over first, or I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was just trying to self-sabotage myself. I don't know. But I was like, I'm going to tell my dad. And I'm like, I'm going to take him to dinner. Like, it was his birthday. And I was like, I'm going to take him to dinner. And we're going to have a good time. And I'm just going to let him know. Now that I look back at it, it's probably horrible. Like, happy birthday, Dad. I'm gay. You know, like, like, I probably could have chose a better time. But so I took my dad out to dinner. We went to a sports bar. You know, we were watching basketball. And we're actually talking about, you know, like, a bunch of stories and old times. We're laughing, we're having a great time. I had a great time, but in my head I was just rehearsing what I was gonna say. I was freaking out, but I was smiling, you know, in his face, but I was freaking out. Like, I felt like I was gonna throw up, kind of like how I feel now, because I'm reliving it. I decided I was not going to tell him at the restaurant, because the place that we went was in a different city, and I wanted to wait till I was back in walking distance of my apartment, you know, in case one of the horror stories happened, you know. What if something went wrong? What if he left me there? And like, it's really sad to think about that now, because that's my dad. Like, I love my dad. Like, for me to even have those thoughts go through my head, like, he could leave me here, like, that's really sad for me to think about, you know. My dad was dropping me off across the street from my friend Ariana's house at a Walgreens, because I was gonna get some medicine for her because she was sick. He pulled up and he was like, all right, son, I had a great time and everything like that. And I was just silent. No, it was silent. He's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, Dad, I just have to tell you something. And, you know, I couldn't believe that I was gonna do this. Like, this was a secret that I had my whole life. Like, I thought this was something I was gonna take to my grave. And I don't remember exact words, but I'm like, Dad, I need to tell you something, and I don't want you to think of me differently. Like, I don't want you to think I'm gross, or I don't love God, or anything like that, but I'm not straight. And my dad was just like, okay. And I was like, I've known this for a long time. I've known since I was around 12 years old. And I'm just like, you know, but I'm not straight. And he's like, okay, you know. And he had this look on his face, you know, just like shock. And he was like, all right, so who's your dude? I was thinking, oh, son of a bitch, not only if I'm in tears right now, you know, I'm crying, but now you have to remind me that I'm single too, you know, thanks Dad. Just like, no, I don't have a guy. I don't have a guy, I just wanted to let you know. And he's just like, okay. Then he told me, like, you know, my heart's pounding out of my chest at this point, you know. I'm literally like on the verge of crying, you know, like, he's like, alright, well, you're my son, I love you no matter what. He's like, you're my heart. He's like, you're my heart, I love you no matter what. If no matter who you're with, be it a guy or a girl, you can bring them around me. I don't want you to fear bringing them around me or anything, and we'll treat them like family. We'll treat whoever it is like family. And I just wanted to let you know that I love you and you're my heart. So at this point I started, like, you know, just crying. Fuck, I'm crying now. Oh my god, I could just hear you guys unsubscribing. I'm crying on YouTube. Oh my fucking god, I'm one of those YouTubers now. I started crying and he's like, why are you crying? Like, why are you crying? You're crying because you're sad or because you're happy? And I'm just like, I don't know, I think I'm happy. We got out of the car, he gave me a really big hug. And I just couldn't believe that that's how it happened, you know, like I couldn't believe that's how it would happen. Like, I literally thought it could have went so much worse, you know, because of the past, you know, but that was pretty much the hard part. Like, he didn't tell my mom or anything. He was surprised that I told him first. He was like, I can't believe you told me first. I'm like, hey, neither can I. And he's like, you gonna tell your mom? I'm like, yeah. And eventually, I never told my mom, by the way. I never told my mom. A month later, I went on the first date with my current boyfriend now, Ricky. Actually, you know, the first guy I've ever dated. And I went on a date with him on February 1st, 2013. And, you know, after a couple of dates, I knew that I wanted him to be my boyfriend. And, you know, it was awesome. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. A couple weeks after that, me and my brother and I are 18 months apart. Like, I consider him like one of my best friends. I told him at the bar, like, we were at a bar, and I told him that I was gay. He just hugged me and told me that he knew. I would try to tell my sister too, but she would not believe me. I'm like, I have a boyfriend. She's like, no you don't. I'm like, I have a boyfriend. She's like, no you don't. I just remember one night talking to my brother on the phone. He asked me, he's like, are you gonna ever tell mom or anyone else? And I'm like, I tried to tell my sister. He's like, do you want me to tell them for you? And I was like, okay. So I went home and my sister wasn't there, neither was my mom there. I can honestly say I was freaking out. I was freaking out. My mom, when she finally came home, you know, everything was normal. Like, to this day, literally, I've never said the words, I'm gay, to my mom. Like, I've never said the words, but she treats my boyfriend like family. My dad treats my boyfriend like family. Even like my grandfather, like, he's like, I can't wait to be my grandson-in-law. Back in the day, like, I would have never thought that I could have what I have now. Like, this apartment here, like, I live here with my boyfriend of almost 4 years, you know, like, and my family all know about me and be accepting, you know, for the most part. It's something I could have never dreamed of, you know, and it just goes to show, like, you know, like, even sometimes when you think it can be, like, the worst thing ever, like, you think that there's no coming back from it, like, this never gonna get better, like, yes it can. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but shit, like, you can get lucky. Like, you can get lucky if you're out there and you're struggling, you know, with coming to terms with who you are, and, you know, thinking about coming out someday. You know, you'll know when the moment's right. You'll know if you have to wait, like I did, until I moved out of my family place. You know, like, you'll know. Surround yourself with people, you know, who care about you. Surround yourself with people who you can confide in first before coming out to your family, you know? If I didn't have my friends, you know, or people who support me and stuff like that, like, there's no way. I don't even want to imagine where I could be right now, you know? Like, believe it or not, like, this video I've been rambling for 40 minutes, and I know there's stuff I forgot. Like, I have stories of me coming out to my friends, you know, me coming out online to social media. But now I think this is the end of this video. Like, I think that this is a good story. Oh my god, you guys have no idea how fucking weird that was for me. Like, literally, like, being serious on camera. I fucking cried. Like, what the actual motherfuck? See, now you guys understand why it took me so long to make that video, because I knew I was gonna fucking cry like a fucking bitch. My name's Leo Williams. I make videos every single week, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around. They get better than this. Like, usually my videos aren't this long. Usually they're better, so subscribe. You won't regret it, I promise you. As always, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you liked it, or to follow me on my sexy Snapchat at SirGraphyte if you really liked it. Alright, I love you guys, but until next time.